So, somebody who is very melanated will be sharing a story with you about their experience. And like any sane person listening to a story that you can relate to, you may point out the fact that you can relate. And then that person calls you a detractor, you're not letting them have their moment, and you're taking away from their experience. Have you ever had a conversation with anyone ever? They go two ways. Like, you can't just trauma dump on people and call that a conversation. That's not a conversation. That's the kind of thing you need to do with your therapist. So if you're talking to another individual about your experiences with your skin tone, and they have a relatable experience, they're going to share it with you. They're not trying to take away from your moment. Whether this is a one-on-one setting or a few people setting, yeah, that's how it works. If not, that means you don't want a conversation. You just want to argue. You just want to trauma dump or maybe argue. And that is not how you get the ear of the people on your plight. Yeah, a lot of dark-skinned people complain that is what they want. They want things to change. They want the ear of the people on them. But it's like, you can't get that if you can't even have a conversation with them, because people have to relate to your issue in order to care enough to change it. Okay. Slightly different thing. I'm not going to bring up my skin tone. What I'm actually going to bring up is my eyes, right? A lot of my teachers took very good care of me, but one teacher who cared so greatly, she had a dad who was almost completely blind. Now, I'm not sure why this is making me tear up, but hold on. She had a dad who was almost completely blind, so she cared greatly. Yeah, and was extra helpful. And so you see, when someone can connect, they feel for you because they know how the thing feels, right? And you know how they feel. So I know how her father feels, her father knows how I feel, she knows how I feel because she's had to take care of her father. Exactly. Yeah, even though it's a lesser issue, because of course I have better vision than her father. She doesn't yell in my face and say, oh, it's not the same because it's not exactly like mine. No. Similar issues are similar issues. Nobody has to be exactly the same as you to relate. And here's the thing, do you want people to listen or not? Because I mean, if you're serious, then you actually have to listen to others. If not, again, you're not ready to have a conversation. What you want is therapy. As harsh as it is to say, like, nobody owes you their sympathy. Nobody owes you their empathy. Nobody owes you their help. In a perfect world, everyone would help everyone, regardless of what the issue is. But we don't live in a perfect world, right? And so, you're not going to get people's help if you can't even listen to them. That's how this works. People have to care about your issue. People have to relate to you. People have to have some kind of commonality with you. And when it comes to the issue of, this is what I haven't heard anyone else say, and it's a bit of more of a sensitive one. When it comes to the issue of colorism, visually, there's already a lot of distance between somebody who is dark-skinned and unambiguously black than, a lot of other groups of people. There's a lot of distance in the looks. So you're really gonna have to come at them with the story. And if you can't come with something substantial for the looks or the story, then it's like you're not really going to get that many people to care. Honestly, unfortunately, that's how caring works. Like, I mean, I could tell you 100 stories about me getting a sunburn, but you wouldn't care. Why? Because even though you could get sun damage and skin cancer, you're never going to get a sunburn. So you can listen to my ears. I mean, you can listen to what I'm saying. But it doesn't really, you're not feeling it. That just is true. Like, okay. But if somebody who was dark wanted to relate to that, they would bring up a time where they got burned another way. Like, oh yeah, because, burns healing is, well, getting burnt ain't fun in any capacity. I've never been burnt another way, really. Yeah, I don't even really burn myself and straightening my hair. But yeah, imagine if I just yelled in your face like, oh, it's not the same, it's not the same. That would be really, really weird. And so one thing that I keep going on about, of which I don't know what order I'm putting these videos in, but one thing I keep going on about is the whole, like, people making fun of random light-skinned people to try and get back at the people who, whether it was back then or now, are making fun of them. It's like, again, how the hell do you expect me to want to listen to you if you're out here insulting me when I never did that to you or anyone? It's like the moment you insult people in general, they completely turn off to whatever it is you have to say. It's like, and then you're gonna go, oh, see, I knew you never cared, this is why I insulted you. But this is really just a self-fulfilling prophecy that you created. This isn't like to be mean. I don't care about being mean. You can't cuss people and expect them to listen to you. That's not how life works, man. If you want somebody's favor, you want somebody's sympathy, you want someone to help you make a change with something, then you can't be rude to them. Because if I was rude to you, you would never help me. Like, imagine if I as an individual ran around making fun of darker skinned people's issues because of the people who made fun of mine when I was younger. I listened to this guy yesterday. He was talking about the video. You're not gonna see this day, but he was talking about that video from Crept and them with the where like lots of guys came and they had light-skinned children and stuff. Yeah. And so there's this guy, he was making a reaction to it, and at the end he was talking about how, you know what, I have never preferred light-skinned women or mixed women. Like, okay, cool. And then he goes on to tell the story about this girl who basically had very poor down there hygiene when they were teenagers. And it's like, that is a somewhat inappropriate story to tell. Number one, is the thing, both back then and now, most teenagers smell funny. You ever had kids run past you at like 3 p.m? A lot of them smell funny. They're still learning. And also, she could easily be telling the same kind of story about him and he'd never know. He's sitting at home saying, oh, never, that could never be me. But you don't smell yourself from other people's perspective. Leaving that aside, it's like, it doesn't relate. It seems like a lot of people who are darker skinned kind of think that in order to prove their loyalty to each other, that they can only do that by taking random jabs at light-skinned people who didn't do anything to them. Listen, if you had a colorist bully, go find your colorist bully. But leave everyone else alone. It's not hard. Like, you have beef with one person or a couple people. That's not everyone. It's weird. It's getting weird. And this is why everyone is pulling back from this debate, including, I've noticed, a lot of people who are dark that say that these things have never happened to them and that they don't want to get into the cult of colorism crusading. Yeah, it's like, if it never happened to them, if they say it never happened to them, you can't force it on them. Leave those people. Listen, her life might just have been better than yours. His life might just have been better than yours. It's okay, it be like that sometimes. Let it go. It's getting weird. It's getting weird. It's not that, and this is happening with a lot of these more woke issues, it's not that people don't care, but it's like it's been more than a decade of people just complaining about the same things over and over again. So people can't be asked anymore. They just cannot be asked anymore. Like, okay, fine, we get it, you're experiencing this, you say we can't relate, or you're policing our speech for some of these issues. Yeah, policing our speech, accusing us of saying things that we haven't said. So you know what? We don't care anymore. The people who aren't experiencing these issues, we don't care anymore. Like it's a two-way street. If you don't care about our issues, we don't care about your issues. Okay, fine. Let's just go on like that. And you want to bully people who look like you, who even look like you, but who say they aren't experiencing that, into accepting that they experience that. It's all weird.